Right, this is a tutorial to help you navigate round a system, use your frameshift drive and land at a station in Elite Dangerous. It can be quite difficult for a new player, so if you just follow simple steps you should be able to do it. This is showing you your system map. We're already landed on a station that's at a planet. That's where the blue marker is. I'm going to move the cursor to the destination and press A, and then you get an orange marker, and that's your destination. You can get all kinds of information on the things in the system on that left panel, but in this case I'm not going to dwell on that too long. When you've set your destination, remember it's the Xbox controller, press B to exit out of the map so that you go back to your flight mode. And if there's nothing on your screen, check your basic navigation marker, which is the little circle with the white mark in it, and the white mark either has a hollow or a solid blob in the middle of it. And when you're aligned to it, press A to target it, and then press Y button to engage your frameshift drive, and this is what should happen. The speed builds up, and frameshift is time slipping and making you go faster. I sometimes move off the galactic plane so that I can see where I'm going a bit easier, because everything's on the same plane. So if you go above or below the galactic plane, or the plane of the solar system, it can make it easier to see. And don't forget, you can move your head around in this game by pressing your right stick, which is important when you come to targeting things and communicating with the stations and other ships. All the time you're in frameshift, or most of the time, you'll be accelerating, and at the moment it's saying 2.5 C. Well, I think that's a factor of like times the speed of light, and it'll just keep building. It does depend how far away the target is, and sometimes like there, I think you're actually accelerating towards the sun with the gravity field, but I'm not entirely sure if that's what's happening. But it's very easy to miss your mark. If you look at the time underneath the distance on the centre of the heads-up display there, sometimes you'll just see the time racing down really quickly. Once it gets to below 10 seconds, it can really pick up speed, and all of a sudden you just miss it. I'll show you how that happens here, but it's very easy to rectify it. You just turn the ship around 180 degrees until you're facing your target again, and you'll have missed it by quite a long distance, but you'll get back to it really quickly. The important thing to be looking at is when you're going to disengage the frameshift drive, and that distance is told to you by the game. There on the left, there's a panel at the bottom, and it says speed and distance, and it has blue areas on it. The speed is the speed that you've got to be at, so you've got to be within the blue area, and the distance, again, you've got to have that orange marker within the blue area on that. And when you've got them both lined up, so you've got speed and distance just right, you can then just press the Y button on the controller, and it disengages the frameshift drive, and you'll probably drop to within 10 kilometers of your target when you get that right. And you'll see that happen here. You can see the markers aligning to the correct areas, and you just look at the distance and your time, and now it's telling you safe disengage ready. And all I'm doing, I've just pressed Y on the controller, and it's dropping me out of frame shift. So there's my target. It's one of the biggest stations that you can get, and you have to align yourself with it, and you also have to ask permission to land there. So press your right stick in, swivel your head round until you get onto contacts, and then ask for permission to dock.
Permission authorized. You are clear for approach to pad 45.
Right, and it's telling you got permission to go to pad 45, and it tells you next to it how long you've got to do it. because you're on a time limit. I think it's about 10 minutes. So this is how you align yourself. You got to watch out for other traffic as well. Make sure you don't ram into anyone, but that's quite rare. You'll also get scanned by police for contraband or stolen goods or whatever. And don't forget that you need to use your landing gear, and that's a press and hold. I think it's the B button on the controller to deploy your landing gear.
Scan detected.
There, we're getting scanned, but I'm not carrying anything, so it doesn't matter.
Landing gear deployed.
So you make your way through here, and then you have to identify your landing pad. In our case, it's quite easy. It's right there in front of us. Quite easy to see. And you're not allowed to hang around other people's pads either, because they're all getting used by other ships. And the game will actually blow you up, shoot you, if you disobey it. So this is where your different flight modes might come in. You can change your flight mode by pressing the left stick in, and it changes the way that the ship responds to the controls. Now this is the important bit. You've got your indicator here of how to actually align yourself, and you've got the little target underneath your ship that's showing red at the moment, and it'll turn blue when you're on target, basically. And then the game automatically grabs you, and that's it. You've landed. Well, I did mention alternate flight controls, and I'll just quickly show you that because that can be important. This is another type of station where you're basically in outer space and you just land onto them. When you activate the alternate flight controls, it stops acting like an aircraft. It acts more like a helicopter or something like that. So you press your left stick in, and it activates the alternate flight controls. And then if you use your right stick and you go left to right, the ship just goes left and right without any yaw being put into it. You just maintain your heading. So it's literally boosting your left or right while you're facing the same way. Your throttles still work, the bumper, left and right bumper, and the up and down on that stick makes you go up and down as well. And the left stick yaws you from right to left, or rotates you along your axis forward to backwards longitudinally. That's just a demonstration of the left and right and the up and down that you can see there. It's really well done, but you can mix these flight modes up and make it very easy to get yourself aligned with anything in the game. And that's the left stick rather rolling you, and that's the left stick making you yaw forwards, so you're rotating about your axis. It makes flying a lot more accurate, especially when, like I say, when it comes to landing. And when you're landing at these places, you've got to be aligned properly, facing the right way. If you look at that, there's like an angled pieces of metal, like looks like they're for jet blast. I don't know what they're for, but you can actually hit them, and I'll show you that on here. But my shields are going to take the damage, not the ship. But your ship will stop on it. But you can see all kinds of help that it's actually trying to give you when you're landing on that central display there. You've got different colours, you've got the noises, you've got the display telling you descent speed and things like that. You've got your forward and backward speed on that panel to right. It's really well done, but it can be very frustrating for the beginner player. Anyway, Hope that's been of an help.